Hello everyone, I am Secarbolic, your Envoy of Hope. Welcome to Shedding Through the Chorus, the show where I make a 1,423 word video on a subject that only took 48 on Mal. This video is intended to be the second part of a two-part series explaining the ideas this channel will be working with, though I'll likely refer back to the first one more often. In this video I'll be explaining the way my rating system works, and why a series would get one score over another. So to start, as brought up in my last video, art is objective and I don't care, I review series solely on my enjoyment of them, and my ratings reflect that. This has led people in the past to ask me if I've considered popularity, age, or impact on the industry before I give a rating. Let me be clear about this. No. No, because being popular or influential doesn't mean I'll like it more. It just means other people liked it more. It also means I have no problems giving an actually bad series a positive score, even if the score is just because I found it enjoyably bad. Nor does it mean the opposite. I'm totally fine with giving credit to a popular series or hating on a bad one, so these factors genuinely don't come into the equation. With that said, let's start off with the score I start off with, 5. In my rating system, every anime starts at a 5, regardless of my experience with the series or my biases. This has led some ratings to be quite poor in a series I hold in high regard, because I'm not evaluating the series, just that one piece. Usually I also use 5s for series I remember watching, but don't remember feeling one way or the other about. 5s can be used for series that held my attention, but that I didn't really feel strongly about. Finally, 5s can be used if I have incredibly mixed feelings about something and am pulled in both a positive and negative direction. I imagine that if I were to watch every anime ever, most anime would score a 5. From a 5, everything must earn its way up or down on the scoreboard with positive or negative traits. Next up is 6, which is a series that I have overall positive feelings for, but can't actually say I like. It was also used once for a series that made its negative aspects work for it well enough that it earned its way out of the negatives, even if I still didn't like the actual series. A 4 is a series I had negative feelings for overall, but I don't actively dislike, though it's most commonly used for anime I just thought was boring. I actually got a Mal account just to rate a series I was suggested a 4. Yes, I am in fact that petty. 7 is used for an anime I liked overall. It can have parts or episodes that could score anywhere on the board, but it all comes down to my final opinion. I divide 7s into 3 parts, high, solid, and low, based on how much I liked the series. A low 7 is something I liked barely. It can be thought of as something that was almost a 6. A solid 7 is something I liked, but just liked. It's firmly planted in the 7 zone, without much swing up or down. A high 7 is a series I really liked. It can be thought of as almost an 8 that would have been an 8 had it done something different or not done something in some cases. There was also a mushy 7 that was in between low and solid ones, but I'll try my damnedest to not make that a thing. Conversely, a 3 is a series I actively dislike, not just have some negative feelings about. It's the polar opposite of a 7 and is sort of like an anti-like. Now, I would normally drop a series if it reaches this low unless it previously reached higher, or if I somehow get myself stuck watching it. Because I'd normally drop something at this point, I don't really divide 3s into pieces like I do with 7s, but I can see the use in doing so. So if it comes up, just know a low 3 is more disliked than a high 3. An 8 is a series that I really like, that did a thing a high 7 should have or didn't do, what it shouldn't have. In a way, an 8 is like a cross between a 5 and a 9. It can be a series that I liked all aspects of, but it just didn't do enough to make me love it, and probably couldn't have. It also could be a series that would have been a 9 had I not had problems with it, or a series that was a 9 for half of its run, but was much lower for the other half. If I don't want to give a series a 7 but can't justify a 9, it's an 8. A 2 is a series I hate, and by hate, I mean that seeing or hearing the title of the series will actually make me angry, and may cause me to go on an angry rant about why I hate it. Although my entire rating system is more about feelings than facts, this is really the point where the scores start breaking down and stop being numbers but become closer to emotions. A 9 is a series that I love, and seeing or hearing its title can make me happy. It can have some flaws, but overall the experiments must be overwhelmingly positive. Like 7s, I divide 9s into 3 pieces, high, solid, and low, with a low series being a series I barely love. that maybe I'm a bit uncertain about or almost fell to an 8. A Solid being a series firmly planted as a 9, or where I loved almost all of it, and a high 9 being a series I really loved pretty much from start to finish. An important note about a high 9 is that unlike a high 7, a high 9 is not almost a 10. There's no such thing as being almost a 10. You're either a 10 or you aren't. Then there are 1s, which can only be described as traumatizing. These are series that have permanently damaged my view of a genre, archetype, or plotline, or other narrative building block that I previously enjoyed. Now, to date, there has only ever been one series to earn a 1, but because I normally drop a series before it falls this far, I'll bet that if I were to watch every anime ever, there would be far more 1s than there would be 10s. Finally, we come to 10s. How does something earn a 10? It doesn't. As of making this video, I've only ever given 3 anime and 4 manga a 10. A 10 isn't even really a score, it's a feeling, a sort of swelling in my chest that comes from a reverence for work. There are as many reasons and criteria for a 10 as there are actual 10s, which each one being given a rating for its own reason. Whether it's a deep personal connection, a captivating ride from beginning to end, or something I can only describe as Gigguk Perfect, a series described by the Gigguk video, The Perfect Anime, which I'll link in the description. Because it's much better than anything I've ever made, but can be summarized as an anime that might not be objectively perfect, but is perfect to me personally. An important component to a 10 is that I'll actually avoid going back over them just to avoid finding flaws. With the individual scores all described, I think it should be noted that the pieces of a series can be rated lower or higher than I would rate the series as a whole, so a series can be worth more than the sum of its parts. Now, with all that done, I can finally get into making videos about actual anime. So, with that said, I've been Sacrobolic, you're Envoy of Hope, this has been Shouting Through the Chorus, and I'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye!